Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Handmade Holiday 2023. Today we're going to make some pom pom and felt reindeer ornaments. Now I did add some tags to these so that they could be used as gift toppers, if you will. So kind of a gift within a gift. And that is really what I like to do. These would also make fantastic just ornaments if you're looking to add some fun ornaments to your collection. I am starting with this reindeer set from Simon Says Stamp, and we are actually going to build felt ornaments with this shape. So this is the reindeer parts, and I die cut them from some 100% wool. I've got the antlers, the face, and the nose. We have 2 antlers per reindeer, 2 sides for the face, and a nose for each. Everything else, I think a mouth comes in the kit, and you can die cut eyes. I'm not going to do either one of those. If you want, you can stitch a mouth. I kind of liked him without, so I opted not to even stitch a mouth, but I think that would be cute. Now, the first thing we're going to do before we start making the pom-pom is we are going to glue the eyes in place on each of the felt reindeer. I considered using buttons and, maybe even die cutting felt and gluing that down, but ultimately I decided to use those big black pearls that us paper crafters, have in our stash usually, but often aren't used for paper crafting because they're just kind of big, but they make the best eyes. I am using some Aleene's glue. This is some tacky glue. It works great. I'm adding a little dab, and you can see I'm kind of using a circular motion with my hand just so that I'm not dragging the string of glue over my felt. And then I'm using an embellishment wand. It has a sticky end to it for anyone who's not a paper crafter. And I am placing those pearls right in place for the eyes. Again, if you want to stitch eyes, stitch on buttons, whatever you like to do there, that is totally cute and fine. I did this first so that they would completely dry, and really when they're dry, they're not going anywhere because it will take a minute to create the pom-poms. You'll see that I have pom-pom makers there on my screen. I've got, actually the one we're using is hardly peeking out the top of the screen. I got my giant one and I have them all the way down to the mini size. If you have never made pom-poms before, they are so much fun and there's a lot of fun things you can do. What I'm going to do today is make pom-poms, but we're going to add these faces to them so that they are super playful, cute, and perfect for the season. So here's just the different sizes. I will link all of the pom-pom makers down below because they are super fun to make, and they are a great activity that you can do with kids. You definitely need to supervise, as you need to have some sharp scissors to cut them apart, as you'll see here in a little bit. Then you take your pom-pom maker and you pull it apart as I just did there, and you take your yarn. I have green, kind of a cranberry is what I'd call it, and white. I actually bought these last year when I was doing some crafting with friends, meaning to make pom-poms for some other felt ornaments I was making, and I never got those complete, so I definitely need to get back to that. I will tell you, I kind of started at the wrong end. It doesn't really matter, but I wish I would have started closer to the base of that pom-pom maker where it pulls out, but that's okay. I'll show you how we kind of get around that. I am wrapping it then around one side. And I like my pom-poms to be really full. I kind of always call my first one like the tester pom-pom, just like tester block in quilting or your tester swatching or whatever it might be. I tend to feel like the first one is always a little light on the yarn, and then I'm like, oh, add more. I kind of am of the opinion more is more, so add a ton. I will be showing all 3. I will speed up the other 2. It does take a minute. You can see wrapping around. wrap it. You want to go all the way around that kind of half moon, that crescent shape, if you will, rainbow, whatever you want to call it. And you want to have it be pretty thick. The thicker and the more you add, you don't want it to be so thick you can't cut it, but you also want it to be thick so that you have a nice, thick, dense pom-pom. So look at how that is looking. And this is what I call the light one. So then I'm going to go all the way back because I realize, oh, I should have done here. So then you close that side and you come through that notch. See how I've done that? And I'm going to continue on the second side. This is going to make our full round pom-pom. I have had these pom-pom makers for, oh my gosh, you guys, 6-7 years now. I've had them a long time. I don't use them a ton. And when I broke these back out of my craft drawer, I was like, oh my gosh, why have I not been playing with these? They are so much fun. I can tell you this, I have 3 pom-pom reindeer in this video today. I am making more. I'm making more ASAP. They were very easy to make. These aren't a super labor intensive project. The most time consuming is stitching the reindeer together, but that's not very hard either. We're using lots of little bits and bobs from paper crafting, from felt stitching, all of that good stuff. Okay, when we have the second side, we're going to close that, go through that notch like that. Okay, then you can snip that. I got some nice sharp snips. Now, I do recommend some sharp scissors for this. You go in that little notch, see the little notch? And you're going to start cutting. You want to keep your pom-pom maker together, and you're going to cut all the way around, like so. And we're going to go down this side, right through that little notch in the pom-pom maker. And then, keeping it together, we're going to cut another length of yarn. If you want to use something else, you can. I opted to keep it the yarn here. That works really well. And then you're going to pull it or place it in between those 2 halves and tie it tight. I do 2 knots and then I generally flip it around and do 2 knots on the other side. I really don't want it to come apart. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, you should lift those crescents out at this point. I didn't until the last one, but you can just pull. If you pull the crescents up, it comes apart easier. It's just got this little metal thing. You'll see it here in a minute. Almost looks like a nail. There's your pom-pom. It is so cute. And then you just place it back together. And then you give your pom-pom a haircut. You go around and you snip off any of those long little hairs on your pom-pom and snip it all up and get it looking nice and clean and as uniform as possible. The goal here is we don't want any long, crazy strands sticking out. I even found one like a day after I had finished these pom-poms, and I finished them and I came back another day to photograph them. And as I was done photographing and as I was done and I was picking up that green pom-pom, I was like, uh-oh, missed a spot. Okay, so here's how our cute little reindeer's gonna look. And yes, those candy cane little pieces, those Idea-ology pieces from Tim Holtz that are candy are going to be the reindeer's legs. Yes, they are. Okay, so I am going to speed it up for the remaining pom-poms and have some fun holiday music. So you can really see with this white pom-pom, I added a lot more yarn. I got more aggressive with my pom-pom there. I pulled it apart. It comes apart so much easier, you guys, if you do it that way. And giving this guy a haircut as well. Are we ready to stitch up some reindeer? Now, the great thing about 100% wool felt, good quality wool felt, is often you can die cut it with the dies that we have as paper crafters and create some very fun projects. This is one of at least 2 non-stitching die projects I will be sharing during this handmade holiday season, or at least the Christmas season. I have more ideas than days I scheduled for this series, so likely there will be a few additional bonus videos besides the one bonus video there has already been. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. The eyes are completely dry now, and I am just going to do a quick little stitch to stitch the nose on to the reindeer. A nice sharp needle comes in super handy here. And this actually is a needle that I got with a Posh design. Posh design, for those who do not know, is a company that makes felt stitching dies. I have lots of videos here on my channel. I am going to link those right here. Or my felt stitching playlist, I guess I should say. I am going to tack the noses down on each reindeer first. Now, I did choose to only use 1 layer for the antlers. If you want them to have a little bit more stability, you could maybe use 2 layers. I had considered it, and I actually die cut plenty, but I saved those extra antlers to make more pom-pom reindeer. I decided I did stitch one, and I just couldn't find a stitching style I liked for the antlers, and I don't necessarily know that they need it. So we're going to only use 2 antlers. We're not going to make a sandwich or anything, and we'll actually be tacking them in between the 2 layers of the reindeer face. Now, the reindeer face is an opportunity to really have some fun. Like I said earlier, you could stitch a mouth, you could add some eyelashes to the reindeer, you could change the reindeer's nose. They don't all have to have a Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer nose. I think it would be fun to do some different shades of brown for reindeer. There's a lot of fun things you can do with this idea. When I get to the end, I am just going to do a couple of little knots here to secure this. It doesn't have to be super perfect, and you will see that even when I stitch the 2 halves of my reindeer together. It's not perfection, but that's okay. It's handmade, and there were a couple spots that I was kind of disappointed with my stitching, and then when the whole thing got done, I thought, oh my gosh, he's so cute. I didn't notice it as much. Starting in between the 2 layers of reindeers, I have them held together. I'm coming up in between the layers, and I leave a tail because I like to just tie mine into a knot at the end, and we're hiding the knot in between the 2 layers. We are going to do a little running stitch, I guess, if you will. That's what it's going to be, a running stitch, but it's going to end up looking like a back stitch. I prefer to do this method rather than a back stitch all the way around. When I stitch with regular stitching dies, this is also the technique I use when it has the pre-die cut holes. So we are doing a running stitch, and I started out down at the bottom where I felt like I could hide the not the best, although I don't think it really shows up that much. But that's kind of what I do a lot of the times. So we're going to just go around and around one of the ears. When we get to the ear, we're going to stop. And here we are going to sandwich the reindeer's antlers in between the 2 layers so that we can attach those like that. So see how I've laid them there? And now I am going to stitch them in securing them in place, and continue my running stitch around the rest of the reindeer's head. And this really was the most time-consuming part. Everything else about this project is super quick. So I would recommend, if you are recreating these at home, that you go ahead and maybe die cut all of the felt pieces, and you take an evening to however many and stitch up all your faces. Maybe take another evening and make a bunch of pom-poms, and then you can pull it all together. That's what I plan to do to make a few more of these. These are going to be gifts from my little neighbor girls. I'm going to make one for each of them. Gifts for my niece and nephew, and kind of gifts for some other special kiddos and things like that. And then I'm going to make a few for my kids as well. I realized that I don't think I ever finished my kids' felt ornaments last year. I think I maybe said this in another video. I confirmed this with my daughter, the only one who knows. My boys, what am I going to do with them? Neither one of them, they were both like, I don't know. So, but my daughter said yes. So I have my daughter and my boys and my son-in-law. So I will make little ornaments for them. I know my daughter will love having them to put on her tree. So, and I'm pretty sure she won't watch this, although she said that this series is my favorite thing that I do every year. And she does tend to like these photos on social media. So I know she sees them, but no worry about her recreating them herself. Oh, she could craft. She just doesn't. So now I have reversed directions. You saw I got down there to the bottom. I put the tiniest bit of stuffing. We just want enough to give him some shape, but I don't really want to overstuff that at all. Then I get clear, I kind of close it. I don't knot it. I just go back to kind of where I started, and then I reverse my needle and go back the opposite direction, filling in those every other spaces. So this is what gives it the illusion of back stitching. However, it's that running stitch, and I think it's a lot cleaner than a back stitch would be. So it looks nice on both sides. When I get all the way back around to where I started, where I have left that tail, that is where we're going to tie a little, I usually just do a little double knot, and then I just take some nice sharp scissors and snip those ends, and then you can kind of tuck the ends in between those two layers, because that's where we ended. I started in between the two layers. I'm going to end between those two layers. If you guys love the felt stitching content, can you please let me know down below? I know I've had several requests for specific felt projects, and I am working on adding more of that to my channel. Okay, these peppermint sticks, the black and white are actually from Halloween, but I love them. The green and white are, I think, new for this year. And then the candy canes, or the legs that the candy canes that I've cut down for legs, these actually, I didn't have any that were just the stick. But the great thing is with a sharp pair of scissors, you can easily cut them. So I thought that would be really fun. I just trimmed mine down just like so. And then I'm opening up my pom-pom and making like a little opening, putting in a dot of glue and sticking the peppermint sticks inside. And these become the legs of our reindeer. The glue is completely hidden. I just kind of tuck that pom-pom yarn right back around it, open it up, little dab of hot glue. And I did use hot glue, and I do recommend hot glue for this step, you guys. It does make it easier. So I also open up a spot right in the front. I kind of flatten it out, as you can see. Let's add our Rudolph head. I put in a nice little bit of glue, and I just smash Rudolph's face right into the pom-pom. And then I fluff up the yarn around him. Easy as that. So hot glue for the reindeer head and the peppermint stick legs. Now I didn't add a tail. I will tell you, I contemplated this and ultimately decided I didn't want to figure that out. I have a couple of ideas, but it didn't matter to me that much. So I decided not to worry about it. I do like the little legs sticking out though. That was one of my favorite little bits of this. All right. Let's add a little bit more glue, gluing all the legs in place. How cute are these little guys? Aren't they fun? Now you guys know I can't leave a critter project, or especially a reindeer project, without adding in some little holly. I always love to add the little holly and berries. So I actually took a die. I believe this was a Hero Arts die. I will link the exact one. You may have one in your stash, or you can just cut some little leaf shapes if you want to with your scissors. I am going to glue this with the Aleene's glue right to that one antler. I did not die cut the berries, however, and this was just some 100% wool felt from my stash. But I am going to use some more pearls for the berries up here. And those are going to be kind of some really pretty metallic-y red. I could have used just bright red, but I guess these are called ruby red. Any little pearl like this would be cute. Sequins would be cute. You could actually stitch on some sequins with seed beads if you wanted to. There are a lot of fun ways to add different embellishment, I guess. You could even die cut some felt and glue that down. And there's what they look like. How cute are these guys? Okay, at this point, you could just tie the strings, trim them down, and you have some ornaments. If you want to gift these, I decided to make some quick tags. And this is my favorite foil set from Spellbinders called Christmas Magic. Now, you might have some stamp sets in your stash, or you just want to put a little paper tag on. You could totally do that. Whether you're a paper crafter or not, you could just grab a package of tags and secure those to these to give them as a gift tag. But I love these. I tried to pick some of the kind of cheeky, fun sayings, and I'm placing them in my Glimmer hot foil system. My machine is heated up, so I've got it ready to go. I am glimmering on some Hammermill cardstock. I'm using the phrases, just what you wanted. You'll love this. And my personal favorite, I almost kept this. I thought that was hilarious. I'm going to make my own tags. So you can actually make tags. Even if you don't have a die, you could use a paper trimmer. I'm going to use some sentiment label dies to die cut mine into tag shapes that I will then punch a hole in the end when I am finished. So this was some really pretty kind of champagne-y gold foil, very simple. And then you can just handwrite the recipient's name on the back if you wanted to. I'm going to run these through my die cutting machine. I did line them up with one end, leaving extra room at the beginning of each phrase so that I can punch a hole with my Crop-A-Dile. Absolutely super, super simple. Nothing complicated about these whatsoever, but that is what I love about them. Aren't they cute? And they're really the perfect little finishing touch for these little ornaments or ornament gift tags. This series is all about stepping up your handmade holiday game. I even think maybe making a set of these and putting them in a gift box would be very fun. Now you'll notice, I guess I should have mentioned this earlier, I did not use reindeer colors for my Pom Pom. It's more like the Pom Pom is an ornament that we have stuck a reindeer face on. So I picked very traditional colors. That is what I decorate for them for the most part, and what my daughter decorates with. My boys don't do anything, so it's a get what you get kind of situation here. But if you decorate in other colors, wouldn't it be fun to do, like maybe if you do pink and teal, I could see having a lot of fun with color choices, or even doing a nice light brown or dark brown body for your reindeer. That would be cute too. And I'm making a little mark. I realized I was having a hard time figuring out if I was lining that up. I can see that mark easily. And I'm punching holes in the top of each of my tags. We're going to thread these on the yarn, knot the yarn, trim the ends, and that is going to be it, friends. Super, super fun project. These were all created in an hour and 45 minutes, I think. And I will tell you, it would have been faster. I made 2 stitching errors that had to be corrected. I think I probably could have made these in less time. I literally had, like I said, I made a couple of little mistakes that had to be corrected. So here I am just going to thread all of that on. So fun. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this handmade holiday video. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.